Hey YouTubers, welcome to my dimly lit kitchen, which I apologize for, but it's what I'm working with. This video is going to be kind of a Christmas food video, and being Italian in my family, we always had an Italian Christmas. So I'm going to make sauce and I'm going to make meatballs. I can't guarantee you how much of it I'm going to share because a couple of them things are kind of family secrets, but I'm going to show you that process. Because of COVID, it's not going to be as crazy big Christmas meal as possible. Used to get out of control a little bit, but it might be enough for 2 parts of a video on how to cook a couple different things. I hope you enjoy it, and you don't need to see me on camera, so after I get done talking here, we're just going to go to looking at me cooking the food without me in it. Okay, we'll get to the sauce I learned from my grandmother since I was about this high. It's a Sunday sauce, which means it cooks all day. I would love to be able to give you a real recipe with measurements and stuff like that, but I didn't learn it that way. I learned to just cook it. So off we go. Hope you enjoy. All right, here we go. First thing we got is garlic. We're going to use 3 cloves of garlic. First thing we do, we crack it. Makes it easier to peel. All right, there's 3 cloves of garlic. Now, there's many ways you can do this, and what I like to do is I cut it really thin, almost shaving it.
I think if you shave it really thin, it gets the flavor through the sauce better.
Some people dice it, some people chop it. Whatever you want to do is fine. Now, this is a little variation that's different than my grandmother's because I use a little bit more garlic. She wasn't as big a garlic fan. But when I got older and cooked with her, I used to sneak more garlic in when she wasn't looking. All right, that's 3 cloves of garlic. All right, we're gonna turn the pot on low. And we'll use some extra virgin olive oil in there. Not a lot, because all we're trying to do is sweat the garlic a little bit. Not a ton. All right. I'm putting the paste in. I didn't show you everything because I told you I wasn't gonna. And the water. My grandmother says it must be contadina. Alright. So I don't know how well you can see in there, but there's a lot of sauce. Funny thing, I have a church cookbook from when I moved to Ohio. And my family, I think we were about the only Italians there. And at church, at least twice a year, we would have big spaghetti suppers. And we have a recipe in that church cookbook on how to make sauce that serves 300 people. Now, this should come as no surprise. Oregano. This is how I measure. I look at it. And I will say something now that's very, very important. As you're cooking stuff, you continuously keep tasting it. It's very important that you taste things as you cook. You can always add, but you can't take stuff out. Now you can cut things, you can use other things to try to cut things back. But you always got to taste stuff. So we're going to let this go for a while. Alright, next thing, here's the secret. This is pork. You can use a lot of different kinds of pork. Some people put neck bones and stuff like that. I'm using what I got. And flavor-wise, the pork helps a lot. So I'm putting 2 pieces in there. And the important thing to know is my grandmother's rule, and my grandmother was always right about her sauce. Not everything, but about her sauce. The cook gets the pork. So this is going in the sauce. All right, next, I got some hot Italian sausage. I will apologize. This is Johnsonville. When I was a kid, we would make special trips, and even as an adult, we would get good, real Italian sausage. Again, this is a COVID thing. I'm cooking this for pretty much myself, so I don't have any good hot Italian sausage, like real Italian sausage, so I'm going to use this. Cut it down into thirds. This one's going to get cut into 4th. All right, so The better the Italian sausage, the better the Italian sausage. Sometimes you use what you have. This is what I have. All right, here comes the good part. We're gonna make meatballs. My mother was a very good cook, and my grandmother was a very good cook. And these are my grandmother's meatballs, which I personally think are the greatest meatballs in the history of meatballs. So we're gonna start with, I found what I could find. This is ground chuck. Now, I have made meatballs with my grandmother in the past where we also put sausage or veal in it. A lot of people will use both sausage and veal. I have made meatballs in the past with hot Italian sausage, you know, going on the sausage and veal thing. But these are my grandmother's. Again, they are simple meatballs, but they are fantastic meatballs. I believe them to be amazing. Now, I'm going to do something when I do these that some people are going to disagree with. And some people that grew up in a traditional Italian household are going to go, yeah, of course, that's how you do it. First thing I'm going to do is put a little olive oil in your hands. And I will be doing that throughout the course of this to help mix stuff. I'm going to break it up a little bit. Ground chuck is better than hamburger for meatballs. If you want to do, 1/3 veal, 1/3 pork, I got no complaints about that. But again, I'm not doing the whole family thing. Next, we're going to use some Italian breadcrumbs. I don't do what some other people do, and there's nothing wrong with it. Some people will soak their breadcrumbs in milk and then squeeze the milk out. These are fine enough that I don't think you have to do that. And that's probably about a cup or so. And again, this is all by feel. I'm going to start off with 2 eggs. As you get mixing, you can tell when you need more of something. Okay, next I'm going to put a little garlic powder in these. And as I want to keep talking throughout this, there's a lot of people that make sauce that put peppers in them, mushrooms in it, all kinds of stuff in them. Some people will put onions in their meatballs. I don't, because my grandmother did, and I think this way is better. So now we got to mix these up. And it takes a while, and you have to feel what you're doing. I expected it was going to be 3 or 4 eggs, but you want to fold this in. Got a lot of hand cleaning goes on. You know why people keep a towel over their shoulder? Because you need a towel over your shoulder. Do more breadcrumbs. I'm going to get to my 3rd egg already because I know I need my 3rd egg. There we go. We're going to mix more.
I've always done these by add, mix, add that way.
Now it is time for some parsley flakes. Much more of the breadcrumbs. And my 4th and most likely final egg. All right, in we go. Back to mixing it. And you kind of more fold. You want to break down the fat a little bit, but you don't want to overgo. It's all about feel. There's a secret ingredient that I didn't tell you, but you'll be okay. Because again, I don't know you well enough. Like I said, my ex-wife knows the recipe. A couple members of my family. What's funny is my grandmother's sister would make meatballs, and hers were good, but the thing I'm going to show you that my grandmother did, the traditional way, is what made hers so much better. We still need more breadcrumbs. And then you give it a smell. This is something you can't taste while you're cooking, but you give it a smell. And it needs some more garlic powder.
think this is gonna get us there. Storytelling time. My grandmother, when she was younger, used to run a restaurant. My grandmother had some things that made me a little bit crazy. She was very weird about food, and I developed a lot of those same things. If you touched your hair in my grandmother's kitchen 4 or 5 hours after food was being cooked, you're gonna get smacked in the head. If you did it while she was cooking, there was a good chance you would end up with a permanent limp. All right, I'm feeling this. I need another egg. We're at 2 pounds of ground chuck. We're at 5 eggs in it. We got garlic powder in there. Now that's starting to feel right. Now we're getting there. That's where we want to be. That is definitely, it's all a feel thing. Never, ever, ever in your life be afraid to use your hands. Especially with something like this. Yep, I think I got it. No, I don't. Needs more garlic powder. I'm gonna wash my hands again. You wash your hands a lot when you cook with your hands. Tiny bit more breadcrumbs. Now we're getting down to fine tuning it and getting it just right. Oh, that's right. Now I'm right. Now, yeah, I kept thinking when I added that little bit of something, I kept thinking on it and feeling it. It just wasn't quite there. There we go. That's better. It's very hard to give a recipe of a family thing. You know, they cook by feel. They cook with their heart, I think. All right, here we got a plate. Now, start making the meatballs. As I said, I got some olive oil. I'm gonna put my hands in it, and we're gonna make meatballs about that size, a big golf ball. And the most important trick here is, if you pack them too tight, they're gonna be tough. But if you pack them too lightly, then they're gonna break apart. All right, so there's a meatball. And we're gonna keep going. So you wanna just keep moving them. Get them together so they will bind, but not pack them. Part of the reason why these are the greatest meatballs you'll ever taste is because they are cooked in the sauce. These do not get baked. My grandmother's sister used to bake her meatballs, and her meatballs were okay. But when you cook them in the sauce, they are soft, they are magnificent, they are just fantastic. Now, obviously, that means half the reason you call it a Sunday sauce is because this sauce cooks all day. So that makes it safe, along with the sausage. If you don't cook things enough, they won't be safe. The beauty of sauce is that you really can't overcook it. The most common thing I heard growing up was, did you stir the sauce? If you went through the kitchen on Sunday or any day sauce was being made, it was your responsibility to look at the sauce and see if it needed stirred. You also needed to skim the sauce of fat, because obviously when you're cooking hamburger in there, it's going to release fat, so you have to skim it. I need some more olive oil on my hands. Now, today, with what I'm cooking today, is I'm going to do it the way we sometimes did it. When I was just saying this sauce is cooked all day, well, today, this sauce is going to be a 2-day sauce. I'm going to cook it for quite a few hours today. I'll put it in the refrigerator, because we're getting a little bit big now. And sometimes in the winter, if it was cold enough, we would set it either outside or in the garage, you know, and then you can just take this, the grease will go to the top and you can just take it off. I'm sure there's some people that are afraid or think cooking raw meatballs in your sauce is dangerous. It is not. You just have to cook it. Honestly, the longer you cook sauce, the better it gets. The longer it steeps. So it is going to simmer probably a good 10-12 hours before I eat this. Hold on. I gotta stir the sauce. I can hear it. And when you stir sauce, you do not scrape the bottom, because if you have any burn, which you may get, if you scrape the bottom, then you're gonna bring that burnt flavor into your sauce. So never scrape it hard. You run the spoon along the bottom, but you don't really get in there and scrape it. So let's see how many we got out of 2 pounds. We got a baker's dozen of meatballs. I could have had one more because a couple of them are a little bit bigger than I needed them to be. Like this one's a little bigger than it needs to be. I'm going to take some off of that one and add it to this one. So you just roll it. You have to feel it. You have to do it to know. Beautiful meatballs ready to go in the sauce. Okay, what I was going to say, here's the meatballs going in. You do it gingerly. I used to watch Chef Ramsay a lot and liked him. And we were watching one episode. Man, these are bigger than I wanted them to be. Oh well. And he was trying to do one of his I'm going to help the restaurant thing. And Gordon Ramsay, I'm sure, is a good chef. But I'm going to go back to what I was saying before. He's not a cook. So he's trying to help an Italian restaurant. And he challenged the chef and the sous chef to cook a meal. And the chef was making basically this. And he started to put his, he was making his meatballs and he was cooking them this way. And Gordon Ramsay lost his damn mind. And that was the first time I realized Gordon Ramsay is a chef. He's not a cook. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So all the meatballs are in. He can cook all the Chilean sea bass he wants to always go on and on about. He can cook all the things he thinks is great. There's the sausage. Yeah. You can see this makes a lot of sauce. Couple things. All the meat that went in here raw. If I was going to cook an all-day sauce, there have been times where I've browned the Italian sausage a little bit before putting it in, just to make sure. Now, because I know that I am going to cook this probably 4 or 5 hours tonight, and another at least 5 to 6 hours tomorrow, just simmering, there is nothing to be afraid of. But if you do not cook it long enough, that's why, this is a Sunday sauce, and there are also things we used to call quick sauce. And sometimes you would make sauce and just brown up hamburger and have a meat sauce and not meatballs. I don't believe I ever saw my grandmother bake meatballs. Most people do. You're not wrong to bake it, but this is an awesome way to do it. So I'm going to let this go. I might stop and talk about it some more. Okay, yeah, we'll come back in probably about an hour or so, and I'll give a little taste of the sauce and see what I may need to add. It could use some more garlic. It could use some more secret stuff, but so far it's smelling very good. And again, whenever you're making sauce, whether you're cooking meatballs or whatever inside your sauce, stir your sauce, hit the bottom, but don't scrape the bottom and break anything that may have burnt, because then all your sauce is going to taste burnt. And then if you're going to do that, you might as well buy a piece of crap jar of sauce. There are a couple jarred sauces that are better than others, but personally, none that I like. Stir the sauce, Dan. Did you stir the sauce? Were you in the kitchen? Yeah. Did you stir the sauce? Yes, Graham. Those were my teenage years. One more thing. Stir gently. You don't want to break up the meatballs. Pay attention to what you do it. I don't know. I just can't explain it to you. If you like cooking, if you see it as more than making dinner, then you get what I'm saying. But be gentle with it. All right, we're about 4 hours in. I'm gonna give it a taste. I'm expecting to add stuff. Oh, that's pretty good. Gonna add a little bit more garlic powder. This I can add this way because I can see it. Normally I would add onion powder here, but I don't have onion powder, but I have shallots, shallots are basically onion. Whoop. But a little bit sweeter. And now I'm gonna add a little bit more oregano, or for my Australian friends, oregano. And as I said before, super important to keep tasting and adjusting, because we're 4 hours into this and it's gonna keep cooking. It's gonna get shut off here, probably rest overnight. You can see the meatballs are coming along. You just do a long, slow simmer. Give them a little taste. Oh yeah. It'll probably get a little bit more added to it, but my entire house smells amazing. All right, that's it for now. I do wish I'd got my Graham's old sauce pot. I cooked this quite a while. Now I shut it off and I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator for the night. Start it up again tomorrow. All right, this is day 2 of the sauce. It is looking really good. You can see how much the sauce cooks down. We're gonna do something that is very nostalgic for me. I don't have one like I had when I was a kid, but we used to have these little yellow bowls and I'd get to taste the first meatball. So I'm gonna taste the first meatball. It makes me very, very happy. Cut into it. Oh, looky there. Let's see how we're doing. There's my meatball. Oh, those are my Graham's meatballs. I have not made this in a long time. I'm sure I've probably already said it in the video. That's what I'm talking about. All right, there'll be more. This really was a great day for me. All right, now I'm cooking pasta. Rigatone. There we go. It's all salted and oiled and all that good stuff. Okay, here's the dinner plate. I'll start with a flyover, rigatoni with sauce. I cooked up some mushrooms that you didn't get to see. Really good. This smells, oh, if there was just smell-o-vision, you would really get what I'm talking about. Big meatball. There's a piece of sausage and a piece of pork. We'll taste it. That's good stuff. I'm about 50-50 on when I do this or not. I got some shredded parm. Put some shredded parm on there. I like it, but I don't like to overload the taste of my grandmother's sauce. All right, first, rigatoni. Don't eat it. My grandmother's sauce is so good. Another one. I'll bite of the sausage. And it is fully cooked. Hopefully you can see that it is cooked. Just being in the sauce makes even Johnsonville's better. There's the pork. Zoom in on the pork. See how nice that is? It gives you flavor, it gives you taste. The cook gets the pork. And the meatball. A little bit big. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I've made this sauce in a few years now. Probably more than I need to remember. All right, I hope you enjoyed. This is the before Christmas meal, so there's gonna be more. I'm gonna cook something else for actual Christmas, and I'll have enough of this left over that I'll eat some more pasta with it. But I hope you enjoyed my grandmother's sauce without telling you how I made it. Have a great and wonderful day. Oh, and apologize. It's a serving dish. I was pretty hungry, so I'm eating out of a serving dish. Now have a great and wonderful day.